If you like time-lapse like me, you're definitely gonna like this camera. Hey guys, welcome back to Harvest's channel. My name is Ivan and today we're looking at a very interesting camera that it's primarily tailored towards people that like time-lapse. If you wanna film a time-lapse with this camera, that's a perfect tool. A lot of you will probably think, well, you can probably do time-lapse with your phone, you can do time-lapse with pretty much any camera out there. But there's one big thing to mention. While you're using all these other things that I just mentioned, you're gonna have to use a special software or some kind of software to stitch all the photos together and create your own time lapse. So personally, I'm a huge fan of time lapses and I've tried them before, but I found that it takes a lot of time using all kinds of software, professional software or even not professional software, but still you're gonna have to spend time to stitch all these images together and create your own time lapse. Where the Atli Eon camera right here, it's actually stitching them for you and creating a whole movie by itself. So all you need to do is just set it up and download it on your phone or any other device and you're good to go. Now this is pretty impressive to me and I was very curious to see how it performs. That's why when the company contacted me directly and they wanted me to review this camera, I said yes, absolutely, I'm very curious. I want to see how it works. Obviously they sent me the kit. This is the black version. We're gonna do the obligatory unboxing for you guys. We're gonna go over the app setup and how you connect the camera to your phone, because this camera does not have an actual screen in the back. You're gonna have to rely on your phone or another device to image from the camera and do some of the settings so you'll be ready to go. But believe me, I did this very quickly. In less than 5 minutes, you're connected to your phone. You do a couple of settings and you are ready to film your time lapse. I did a couple of time lapses. One was overnight for about 9 hours and one was during the day for about 3 hours. So the 9-hour one, the total length of the video was under 3 minutes. So you got to think about it. We're talking about 1080p capability of this camera. When you set it up for time lapse, personally, I didn't want to set up intervals because I did not know how long the actual movie is going to be. So I just set up the time frame, which is a much better idea, I think. I set it up for 9 hours and the camera does everything else by itself. So it takes a lot of the stress of settings and figuring out what exactly you want to do from you and does it through the camera. So yeah, I have to say I'm pretty impressed that you guys are going to see some of the footage obviously from the day time lapse and from the night time lapse. The night time lapse is not that impressive, I have to admit. I don't live in a very picturesque place. But you can imagine if you set up this kind of time-lapse camera somewhere nice, where it's open, clear skies, that you can see a lot of stars, it's going to look very beautiful. Now in my suburban, urban area, it's not that great, but the day one looks a little bit better. Overall, I think the setup is extremely easy, and they're providing a lot of things inside that you're going to be liking. This one retails on Amazon around $180. I know the price might be a stopper for some of you, but believe me, if you want to have something dedicated for time lapses, that is going to remove all the stress from you to having to create your own time lapse. This is the camera to go. And in addition, they have another feature that they have created that's called time slice. Basically, it's creating one image kind of throughout the whole period of your time-lapse setting. So one side of the image can be dark and all the way to the other side will be lighter if you're going from like night to day or day to night, vice versa. So it's a pretty cool thing. Honestly, I'm impressed what they've done with this camera. Very compact, very well protected and very small. But without me talking too much about it, let's go ahead into the unboxing. We're gonna go after that into the app preview and how to set up the camera. We're going to look at some of the footage and of course at the end we're going to talk about it in the conclusion. Alright, so let's see what's inside the Atli Eon time-lapse camera kit. This is the starter, black kit. Comes in this kind of industrial box, but this is for extra protection. Once you open it, there's the actual retail box right inside. So let me pull that out right away. So we'll get the retail box out, put the protective one to the side, and let's see what we have. So a nice retail box with the image of the camera on top. On the back side, we have outlined some of the features. They have their own app for both Android and Apple, and that's about it. Very sturdy, actually, box that if you're receiving this in the mail, it's probably never going to be crashed unless somebody really steps on it. Very nice work with this one right on top. This is the lid. Two very well placed soft foams to protect the camera lens and the UV filter. So right on top, of course, we have the camera. Let me take to the side and see what else we have. On the right side, we have a small tripod, very high quality tripod actually. Just look at that. We have rubber feet. The plastic is not flimsy, it's very sturdy. We have 1/4-inch thread right on top. We have all the functionality so you can place it on the right spot and keep it that way. Let's take that to the side. And what else we have here? We have a USB to micro USB cable. I'm a little confused. So the camera takes USB-C for charging the battery, but the cable in the kit is micro USB. Maybe they made a mistake, maybe they threw like a different cable here from the factory, but this is definitely not the cable to charge it with. You're not going to be able to use that one. Below the camera we have the UV filter, and this is kind of like a rubber cap that you can flip the way you want and use it that way. And this is how it mounts straight onto the camera because it's rubber, very easy to slide in, and that way you can have it ready. On this side, let's see, this is a rubber case for the camera. Interesting. So this is extra protection for the camera. You can put it on and you still have access to your ports and everything else. Power button right on top, but a little extra protection doesn't hurt in case you drop it or something. It's good to have that. Right here we have probably the user manual. Very little, very compact. Yes. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot actually. It's a user manual on both Chinese and English. It's very compact, shows you everything you need to do. I really appreciate that. And there's a couple stickers here. Atli Eon time-lapse camera. Very nice packaging here. Very well done. And here's the battery. The battery is 2050 milliamp hours, and just to let you know immediately, charging time with very fast charger. I used a 95 watt USB-C charger to charge this battery. It took about 2.5–3 hours, so it's not the fastest to be charged. Just keep that in mind. I want to let you know. And so what else we have here? Yeah, this is an adapter for a tripod. Great thing to see. So pretty much full packaging to get you started with everything you need. And let's see the camera now. Let me remove this cap. As you can see, the cap can go all the way like this and protect it, or a little bit back, or a little bit back further. So nice accessory here with the UV filter. Camera itself looks very simple, very light, all plastic body. On the side we have the charging port, USB-C like I mentioned. We have external flash port right here. We have the tripod mount on the bottom. On the side we have the micro SD card slot, and the camera already comes with 16 gigabyte micro SD card. This is plenty for what we need. And then the power button on top. On the back there's nothing, there's no screen, there's nothing, but if we pry right here with our finger, you'll see where the battery gets mounted right here. And the mounting is super simple. Just slide it in, close back that lid. Just be extra careful because the lid is held by this plastic little strip. It's nothing too sturdy, so don't rip it. Be very careful, and just place it back where it was and press it back. We have indicator LED right here on the side, and the lens is manually movable. You see that little tiny here arrow. So if you move it clockwise, it's going to be for your kind of panoramic or further shot, and if you move it counterclockwise all the way, this is going to be for your macro shots or something closer from like 7 centimeters to about 80 centimeters if you want to do a time lapse on some flowers or plants or something like that. And then moving it all the way to the other side again is for your panoramic shot. So you can adjust that focus yourself if you want to focus manually. Of course, without screen, you're going to have to connect it to your phone. And connecting it with your phone, we're going to use the app, which I'm going to show you how it's done. And from there, you can actually see the screen and everything else and connect it. So that's going to be easy. This is for the unboxing. We're going to go into the app now. We're going to check it out how the installation goes there. And from there, we're gonna move on to the actual review. We're gonna see some images. I'm gonna set it up and see what kind of time lapses we can capture and how they look on our mobile device and how they look on computers. So we will see if, how that works. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's move on. So once you have Atli Camp app installed from the Android Play Store or Apple Store, once you open it, the first page you're gonna see is Discover. This is a very helpful one. It shows you tons of videos, tutorials, how to do different kinds of flexible schedule, macro mode, time slice, how to do any of the shooting here. Very well outlined and explained. I'm actually impressed how much work they've put out here to show a lot of the things that you can be doing with the camera and not just wander around and look for other sources to figure it out how to work with it. Everything is very helpful. In addition to these videos, you actually have another tab that's called Tutorial. And once you go to the tutorial, these are the step-by-step tutorials that you can do how to connect the camera, which is very easy. Again, you can read through it. It's very graphically well represented. Press the power button, then wait for 30 seconds for the LED to turn from orange green, and then launch the app and scan the code. Where's the QR code? Every QR code specific for your camera comes inside in a sticker on your user manual. So if you go to your user manual, kind of like towards the last pages, you'll see you have a specific QR code here outlined that you can scan with the camera, and the camera is going to get paired with the app. You'll see everything is explained. Again, with very well graphically represented and how to do everything else. It's extremely easy. Without even knowing anything about the camera, you're gonna be able to connect and do everything else. LED status, how to understand the different options, how to do manual focus, to rotate the lens left and right, from macro to landscape shooting, how to make time slice. All that is very well explained here. We even have some tips how to do different types of shootings. And if we go to the albums tab, you will see my 2 videos that I filmed, my time lapses. You will see the different types of videos if we have, but these are all I have. And camera, this is going to show you what's inside the camera. I already downloaded these to my phone, so that's easy. And if we click on camera now, you'll see they want us to connect. So I'm going to hold the power button on the camera to power it on. Once it's powered on, you will notice the little LED, now it's orange right here. So we're gonna wait for it to become green. And once it becomes green, I can just click connect, and that's gonna give me direct connection between the app and the camera. Now don't be afraid of the wait time. As you can see, it's about 20-30 seconds, and once turned green, you can leave it down, click connect, and now the app is going to look for the connection directly to the camera. It's going to disconnect from your Walker wireless. Found the camera, it's gonna try to connect now, and once it's connect, you can click to process on the screen, and this is going to give you the preview of what you are about to shoot. Currently you can see my lights in my window, nothing fancy right here to watch, but there's some settings here you can check out real quick. And of course, if you want to make the screen bigger, you can always rotate the phone, and that way you can see the full screen. So here we have HDR, which is still on beta. We have some more options here: auto, cloud, cityscape, flower, star, sunrise, infrared, and manual. So these are different settings you can do. Some predefined automatic, and of course we have the manual, the different shutter speed, ISO, white balance. So all that is great. So you can go ahead and tailor it if you want to do a little bit more of settings for yourself. But for now, and my purposes, I always leave it in auto. If we click over here, there's the settings of the camera. They will show us the timestamp if you want to have one, the watermark, grid, power saving mode, memory card, how much is available. Currently, you see how much is available after the 16 gigabytes I have. You can kind of predict how many time lapses you can film here. In advanced, well, we have remote control, time zone, built-in FTP server, so if you want to do any of that stuff. And about will show us the latest firmware, MAC address, and all that stuff. Output on the time lapse is video and photo sequence. If you want to do that, I leave it by default. And we have the schedule, so you can see repetition, the schedule here, the start time, end time, interval, and apply if you want to tailor it by your own preferences here. and the video is gonna split after the 10 minutes. You can mute, and the frame rate is 25 FPS. This can be manipulated if you take off the time lapse and select a different video. So if I want to now start my video, if I click on the camera button, you'll see we have interval time and we have duration time. So the interval, you can select the interval of every single image you want to have, and the duration, which I personally prefer, I select the amount of hours I want this time lapse to last. So let's say 6 hours, and it'll show you estimating time of the length of the video, which is a little bit also overestimation, because in my experience it's actually smaller. And then you hit start and everything will start filming. Now here you can adjust the tilt of the camera, and by standard is just the way you're looking at it, standing on a tripod or something, filming straight landscape. You can tilt it left or right, or even upside down if you want to stick it to something and do it this way. So from here you can adjust that as well. You can see battery, how much battery we have. Well, of course, if you click anywhere on the screen, it will let you adjust the white balance if you'd like to, and on the side it will lead you to your gallery. A very easy navigation, very easy to operate, and I'm sorry that I'm not showing you anything prettier here, but this is what is on the table. So easy to understand settings. If I go back here, it will show you connected and live to the camera, and this is all the cameras you have selected here. So if you have multiple cameras, you can add them to the app as well. You can refresh, and if we go to about, it will show you the app version, it will show you the latest firmware version, and you can check on if there's no updates for new firmware. Currently there is none. So yeah, pretty impressed with the app, I have to say. This is probably the most professional and well-rounded app to connect to camera that I've seen in a while, and I have tons of other cameras, including some from much more well-known and much more expensive brands, where this one kind of beats them with all the navigation, the easy tutorials, and very useful options. So you will see here from the drop down on top that says time lapse, we can select between time lapse, photos, and video. So if I select only a video, now if I go to my settings, you will see I have options here for the video to be split on 5 or 10 minutes, to mute the sound or adjust the frame rate, and the maximum is 25, so you can lower it down to 5 frames and all the way to 25 frames. This is what the video will look like, but you know, the main purpose for this camera, to me, is to have time lapse. What do we have on photo? So let's see on photo. If we go to settings, we don't have much else to tinker over here with the photo. We have the same options as before, and the way the camera can be tilted. But of course, time lapse is what we want to do here, and this is the main purpose of this camera. So yeah, once again, I really like this camera. The app is extremely useful. I really like what they've done with this navigation. All right, let's move on. All right, conclusion time. And what can I say about the Atli Eon time-lapse camera? I'm definitely impressed. Some of the features are very useful to me, and I'm a huge fan, like I mentioned at the beginning, of time lapses. They look beautiful, and I cannot wait to go on vacation somewhere, maybe at the beach or somewhere in the mountains, so that I can set it up outside and actually film some very nice and picturesque time lapses, because where I live, not really anything to write home about. But the features are good. It works very easy. You can connect it to your phone, tablet, any other device directly with dedicated wireless. So the camera emits its own wireless connection, so you're connecting to your phone. The app is extremely easy to navigate. It has very good tutorials. I already filmed these videos, how to set up some things if you have any questions or you're like confused how to do some things. Although I think most of you will be very pleased with how easy the operate is. And obviously the end result is very nice, very good. And I'm also very happy that the overall length of the video is not that long. For 9 hours, like I mentioned, less than 3 minutes video. That's excellent. Now, obviously there's negatives. There's no dedicated screen. It would have been nice to have a dedicated screen so you can see all the settings there and do it this way without having to connect to your phone or anything else. Because imagine if your phone battery is dying, you're trying to connect to it, you're not going to be able to do your settings. So there's some complications there. But again, these are cases that you can prevent if you think ahead of time. The other major negative for me is the charging time for the battery. The battery is 2050 milliamp hours. And with my most powerful charger, which is 95 or 96 watts that I have, took 3 hours to charge the battery, which I think it's way too long for a battery of this size. The charging time should be no more than an hour. But yeah, you gotta account for this. So if you want to use it for a long period of time, remember after that to charge it right away, because when I filmed my 9-hour time lapse, by the morning, the battery was already drained and I had to again charge it again, and you got to think about another 3 hours. So the charging speed of the battery, it's one of my concerns. The battery itself lasts quite long, but the charging time is not great. Now the body of the camera looks a little bit flimsy. It's looks a little bit cheap on the plastic, but believe me, when you strap that rubber protective cover and the UV filter with the rubber protection, it looks very nice. It's very solid and sturdy, and you put in a little tripod that comes with it. It's good to go. It's protected, even if it rains on it for some reason, or if you knocks it off the place that you already put it on to film, maybe an animal during the night film or whatever you're trying to do. It's not gonna break easily because of that rubber protection. Comes with memory already, so you don't have to go and buy your own SD memory card. So everything is already included in the package to get you going. Now in my particular case, my cable inside was USB-A to micro USB, which I don't know how that happened. Maybe some confusion in the factory or whatever. But the cable that needs to come with the package is regular USB-A to USB-C. So keep that in mind. Obviously, I have tons of USB-C cables, so I had no problem charging it and operating and all that stuff. What can I say at the end? I'm really pleased with this camera. It's a well-rounded performer and definitely brings some fun when you want to film some nice time escapes and time lapses and insert them in some nice videos and use them that way. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Hit the thumbs up if you like the video. Stay tuned to the channel. Subscribe if you're new. Check out the link in the description below. It helps me tremendously to bring you videos like this daily. There's a couple of very interesting products I'm going to show you very soon. It's been a while since I have showed you any electric scooters, so I have actually a couple that I'm going to be reviewing very soon, and believe me, some of those are very interesting, at least to me, and you guys are gonna like them as well. Just popularity of those electric scooters is getting up to the roof now. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. As always, you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.